Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, the show where we discuss the latest cryptocurrency news so that you stay up to date in the world of Web3. Today, I'm very kindly joined by the wizard himself. Wizard, how are we doing, my man?
I'm good, thanks, Ross. How are you?
Yeah, not so bad. I've actually picked up a bit of a cold. I'm blaming the markets. When the markets are down, my immune system gets shocked, and I pick up some random illnesses, but all okay. I think there is a glimmer of hope in the market. There's also the glimmer of hope to the downside, which we'll also talk about because there's opportunity everywhere. But I'm keeping my eyes on the market right now, rather than burying my head in the sand. And I think everyone listening in, if you're listening in now, you're doing the same as well. So you've made the right decision. But Wiz, do you see a lot of people in the community and in the crypto space burying their head in the sand right now?
I think so. I think a lot of people have probably been burned a little bit by getting caught on the wrong side of this downturn. Personally, I think it's quite an exciting time. It almost feels like we've got that bear market chance to accumulate stuff at a lot lower prices. I think, it's just about keeping the faith. I think there's obviously a lot of headwinds going on, but I think once the headwinds go and once you cut through a bit of the noise, I think certainly the rest of the year looks quite rosy.
I love the positivity that you've conjured up. When I went online on Monday, I woke up to a load of panicking messages. One of the only positive messages I had was from Wiz, actually, and he you just mentioned there, you're like, wow, this is supplying us with some great opportunity. So it's nice to be surrounded by people like yourself that did see the opportunity there, and I think a lot of the audience will also see that opportunity. We're going to go through some different bits today. We're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about some metrics to look out for as well. We're going to talk about altcoins. If you've got any altcoin suggestions, whack them up into the chat, guys. And we're just going to kick it and vibe as well. So let's go through the chat. Let's see who's here. We've got Gannicus right now. Gannicus, GM, give us the bullish vibes. Yeah, that's what we're here for. We got Crypto Bro. Hope you're doing well. What the duck is going on? Yeah, literally. What the duck is going on? We got Roy. Lovely to see you, Roy. GM, and we've got the legend Justin here as well. GM. Bruce, all the way from down under. Like to see it. Moto News saying, what the hell? Got Crypto Bro as well saying the market has cadavered my profits. Yeah. I haven't been burying my head in the sand, although my spot holdings, you could say, I haven't been watching. I know they're there. I'm choosing not to move on a few of them at the moment. And we've got the Gold Sniper as well. Good to see you, Gold Sniper. I hope you're doing well. But let's get straight into it. Let me pull up Crypto Bubbles and let's talk about some of the gainers and losers of today. Wiz, is there anything that surprises you other than Fartcoin? I thought Fartcoin was just going to keep going up, but it seems like the gas has run out a little bit. Fartcoin was actually my best performing asset over the weekend and into Monday. But is there anything that surprises you from this list here?
Not particularly. I think we sort of expected to see some red. I think ETH has taking a bit of a battering. It's battering, but there is some green. I mean, there's some green for Jupiter. I must admit, I sold a lot of my Jupiter a few weeks ago. But stuff like Hype I saw that there was a graph that showed some of the fees that Hype have been collected, and there's still a lot of activity on Hyperliquid, and they're generating quite a lot of fees. That's one that I must admit I had a nibble at. I was saying to Justin and Dave that once that got into sort of my buy region, about $10 is I'd be lapping that up, and I got some of that. But I think probably what we expected this week is more red. I think you're always likely to see somewhat of a bounce when you have as much sell pressure as we did, but it was, I think, as I said in the bullpit, it felt like a dead cat bounce, and hopefully people heeded that warning and didn't get caught on the wrong side of that.
So we can see here, ETH's really suffered over the last 7 days. We've got 22% decline, chilling below 1,500. Solana, we got to mention Solana. It did scare a few of us, dropping all the way. I believe it was around $95, as low as it went. Well under $100. Trying to get back over the 110 mark, it seems, at the moment. I think, to be honest, anywhere over 110, 115 is okay. Is a kind of safety zone. I think Solana at 120, we can do some bits with that, so not to worry. But we have got to mention XRP as well. I think you wanted to touch upon XRP and some of the news that has been coming up recently, and just give your take on XRP, because I know you've been trading it in the past. But what's your current opinion on XRP, Wiz?
I guess as an instrument, I don't particularly like it. To trade, I think it's an interesting one. Obviously, we've had so much of it being stagnant for so long, and then it just took all the headlines. It ran up quite hard, and I think it's cooling off a little bit. They're making some interesting acquisitions. So I know that this week we had they acquired a prime brokerage for 1.25 billion. Which I believe, I think they're using it as settlement. So it's almost like they're trying to find that real world use case for Ripple. I'm personally not sold on it, but I think what we're seeing from a wider perspective is really interesting. Is you're seeing some of these crypto projects who have quite a lot of cash on hand, who are making acquisitions. We've seen Tether doing
the richest company in
crypto. Yeah, exactly.
So for everyone listening in right now, Tether is one of the most profitable projects in cryptocurrency to date. They've got one of the largest Bitcoin holdings. They are absolutely minted, and it's something that isn't touched upon enough. Tether have a lot of power. They do a lot of things behind the scenes, and it's a relatively small and unknown company, really. It's one to look out for sure. I wanted to touch upon with XRP. It comes under that kind of North American narrative, which we had at the latter stage of 2024 and the early stages of 2025. You can throw Cardano, you can probably even throw Solana in there. We saw the kind of North American trends performing really well. Do you think all this latest commotion with the United States is gonna suffer that progress there, and it's gonna level out the playing field? Or do you think the assets, which are kind of their demographic is majority North America, perhaps their founders and their bases is in North America as well? Do you think that's going to continue, or do you think Trump has stifled that for now?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think obviously you're seeing from a wider perspective this sort of this American protectionism. I think when it comes to crypto, it's interesting because whilst there obviously are some American crypto projects, you also you don't really want to be screening out the Asian market given sort of the size of it. I'm not swayed. I think just because I don't know if it's because I'm a European, but the idea that American is always better and they'll pay a premium for it. I don't particularly buy into it. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously the stuff of if he does tax exemptions for American projects and things like that. But I think largely, I don't know the appetite for that, given not a lot of people are actually sat on any capital gains at the minute anyway. But also it gives the element of, you could exempt yourself from tax, but then you might miss out on something that potentially has more upside in that sort of balance between it. Personally, I don't like XRP. I wouldn't hold it. I wouldn't buy it. I trade it mostly down. It's everything for me from an ideological point of view. It's everything that we didn't want crypto to be. It's centralized. It's all owned pretty much by Brad. I don't really like Brad.
No.
And I just look at sort of in terms of when we get an alt season, the best chart I hope to see is, I want to see XRP dominance absolutely plunge, because it's shot up and it's just stayed there there at about 4.5%, and I would just love to see XRP dominance get bashed back into its hole, back down to 1%, and then everyone can be happy and projects can flourish, and we've got rid of Brad and his opinions in the industry, which aren't aligned to a lot of us in that element.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I've seen Brad speak live at a few events, and I actually liked him live and in person. And then when I see his stuff online, I'm like, oh, whatever, Brad. So I'm kind of on the fence with Brad. I think I could be swayed. I think a good argument, and listening into him, I think I could be swayed a little bit. But
he sells optimism. He sells optimism.
Yeah.
That's what
right now we need it. We're there with the hope.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. I think XRP is obviously a cog in the crypto system. I'd like it to be a much smaller cog than what it is, but who knows? I mean, there's a lot of money in there, so I just hope that those who have enjoyed the nice gains on XRP sell before Brad dumps on them. But
Let us know in the chat how you're feeling with this current market. I feel like we were all a lot more flush a few months ago. I just pull up, a few months ago, I was thinking, I might get a new car, and then I was looking at might get a Porsche, might get a Jaguar. I was feeling a little bit flush, and I think right now I'll show you on the screen the car that I'm wanting to buy now. The Astragini. let me know in the comments, guys. Should I buy the Astragini? Ed Matthews, who's a UK influencer, he had the Astragini. I think that's probably in my price range right now. I've got to admit, actually, I did have some short positions, did okay on the shorts, not quite as well as that Martini guy, who made $250,000 overnight on his short positions. He's been calling it for a long time. But yeah, maybe this will be my summer car whiz, and then come later in the year we can get that Porsche. But yeah, Roy's saying it's a nice car. He likes the look of it. We've got Pratik here as well saying GM, good to see you. Gannicus is liking the tea. Yeah, Hayes man. A few delays with Hayes man. I've been talking to the team. It's not ideal in this market to launch, so I've been actually advising them to keep delaying. I know it's not what the community always want, but I think it's ultimately the best decision for them there as well.
If it makes you feel any better, Spud, our American viewers are now even further away from a Porsche or a Jaguar.
Yeah.
They now have to settle for Ford pickup trucks and Dodge Vipers or Dodge Rams.
Dodges, yeah. We've got Jason in the chat as well saying, looks like a lot of people went short at 74k, so we're getting a relief bounce. I hope the worst is a sweep of the low, a deal with China, and we're back. Hold on to the car purchase for now. Thank you, Jason. Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, I think the Astragini might be a better purchase anyway. And we've also got Justin here saying, I'm bullish. Market is going to catch people out at some point, as everyone's super bearish and going to get left on the sidelines. I think this as well, Justin. I've been saying it, to my friends, my family, people in the community. I think right now, and also what Wiz mentioned, the people that keep on it, keep grinding, keep active with the market, they're the ones that are going to profit the most of this. Yes, there's going to be people that perhaps weren't exposed to the market that are stepping in now. I'm speaking to someone from the community who's relatively new to crypto. He's not fully involved, and he's got a nice stack of stables to start, which he's been DCAing. And I said, actually, like, this market crash is so perfect for you. There's real good opportunity for you to get ahead here. We got Steve here as well saying howdy, Steve. Good to see you, my Hampshire brother. We've got Gannicus here as well. 100% bro, luck prevails, the resistant degens. Yeah, we keep going. Wiz, should we touch upon a bit more about Trump and what's going on over there, and how you think China are going to react as well? I know you like to keep, you keep a wide eye on the macro. You've even been trading retarded stuff like orange juice recently, right? Nothing is untradeable to Wiz, guys. If there's an opportunity to make money, Wiz will get on it. What was the other one? Cacao you were trading?
So cacao, orange juice is behaving a bit like a meme coin at the minute. But I think there's just opportunity in the market. I think we've seen possibly sort of like one of the biggest shakeups in the world trading order, albeit I don't think it's permanent, and I don't think these tariffs will last for a long time. But they're here, and they're part of a wider plan. And yeah, I think it's interesting. I think obviously the market is in an interesting place. I think I just want to echo sort of what Justin was saying, and just people being sort of really careful now. I think if you're looking for, people tend to have a little bit of a lag in terms of their positions, so they don't turn bearish until we have the worst of the drop.
Yeah. And
so the idea of people going short below 80k, unless they know what they're doing and they're quite experienced traders, you've missed the short. And we're in that bit now where, because we've rallied a little bit off the bottom, is a lot of people have missed the longs. So we're sort of stuck in this no man's land. And this is where I think, unless you're a really experienced trader and know what you're doing, going in leveraged at this point is really, really difficult. It's really difficult, which is why I think I've personally turned to some other markets which are moving a little bit better, and I take my profits in USDT. I send them over to an exchange, and I've had a DCA bot running since early February on stuff that I like. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I think there's opportunity in the market, and for those sat on stables, it's a fantastic time. But yeah, I think from a macro level, we're in a little bit of a limbo. It's just about positioning yourself. This is where everything is just really, really whipsawing, and you don't want to get caught on the wrong end of stuff.
No. And for everyone listening in, if you're not already a part of the CSC Plus Discord, if you're looking for some more help, some more direction with your trades as well, definitely check us out over on Discord. All the links are in the description below. There's even a discount BTC 80 right now. You can see Block Pro's been printing here. We've got Prosperous, Uplift, also some great trades. Wiz, there you go, nice 88% gain from you. Some really good trades, guys. And if you're not already a part of the CSC Plus Discord, a lot of the members that you see here in the comments, Crypto Bro, Justin, Steve, all of these guys, they're all in the Discord, sharing their wisdom and getting better together is the main thing, guys. So go check us out there as well. Let me just pull this across. I will be doing a live trade on BLOFIN with the help of Wiz, guys. So if you have any altcoins you would like me to trade in this live stream, put them in the chat now. Otherwise, we'll probably do Solana or maybe XRP, or maybe Wiz, you've got something in your eyesight right now, and we can trade that as well. Pratik is saying, what did you guys accumulate this dip? I haven't actually bought anything this dip. My trading style is I'm an altcoin investor through an upward trend. And right now, I'm just sitting on my bags or even getting rid of a few of them. And I'm actually trading when I see opportunity, the volatility too as well. I've been enjoying trading. I'm not a day trader. You know, I can go days, weeks without placing a trade. But when I see opportunity, I will place a trade. We will go over to BLOFIN now, and I will show you as well. So this account that I'm just going to pull up, I think I blew the account just before the new year, put $1,000 back into it. And I think we're on about $4,000 currently. I've just been taking this quite slow. We can probably have a look through some of my order history or position history here. Okay, it's not loading, but so I've been taking this account slow. Once we get to 10K, we can do some cool trades with it, guys, as well. So I'll be keeping on with this a little bit more. I'm going to be actively trading because I know you guys enjoy it a lot. We've got Crypto Bro here saying, I picked up some spot bags of orange juice physically, settled but drank it, so on a loss at the moment. Was it with bits or without bits? Let me know. I'm a bits guy. I like my bits. What about you? Is bits or no bits?
I'm a smooth man. I prefer the smoother variety. But yeah, it's.
And Pratik is saying, are you guys still making money on meme coins? Right now, the meme coin market is so quick. You'll get launches, and they go up and down. There was a few good ones. I had my eye on. I actually saw the ticket is fat. I can't say the other word on stream, but we'll say Fat Fellows. And basically, what they've done is they've gone famous out. Not famous. They've gone viral outside of the crypto world. So their Instagram page, and they've got it's all AI of these Fat Fellows. Can't say the actual word, but I think you can probably guess what it is. The Fat Fellows, and they've got millions of views, and I've even seen like celebrities commenting on it as well. And I think a lot of people don't even realize it's a crypto project. They just like the funny AI animation. So that's one that went up. I think I saw that at like 300K or like below 1 million, and that went up to like 13 mil, I believe, on that. Some good influencers I've been watching. Obviously, there's always the Crypto King as well. And we do have our meme coin channel in the Discord as well. So if you're looking for new meme coin picks, head over to there. We did speak about another meme coin, which is coming. It's not actually a meme coin. It's social currency. Basically, meme coins 2.0 with utility, which is going to launch through BonkBot, and that is called Nomu. Keep your eyes on that, guys. That is my biggest pick of the month, and something that I'm going to be getting behind a lot. I know the Swissborg team, I know the BonkBot team are really going to be working to make this good. Their last meme coin launch that they did was Borgi. That went up to like 50 million on launch, whereas Nomu actually has utility. They're involving a sushi restaurant. I can't give away too much right now, but they're involving a sushi restaurant, so there's going to be utility there. And we will have Daniel back on stream to talk about that as well. We've got TMG in the chat. Is Solana run by the CIA? Is Solana run by the CIA, or is it just a load of degens? Let me know.
Well, that comes back to the question where we had earlier, the American question: is Solana American? Given it's founded by 2 Ukrainians, is it an American coin? Will it be part of the American exemption? Who knows?
Can you say the founder's last name? I got asked this and I butchered it.
I'd love to say yes, but my pronunciation probably isn't there.
No.
Yeah, I'll pass on that one, Ross.
I believe it's Toli Yakatchenkov.
Yeah.
Something, Anatoly Yakachenkov, something like that. I butcher it as well. But clever guy. I've also heard him speak. The only thing is he doesn't hold his assets on chain. What is he doing? He's not even using Solana himself. His kind of theory behind that was, look, guys, I'm too busy. I'll make mistakes if I hold my assets on chain, which seems a bit retarded if you ask me. We've got Crypto Bro saying, got to have bits in it. Orange is actually my favorite color. I like it more than yellow and red put together. Well, we like orange Bitcoin. We were actually going to change our Crypto Saving Expert logo from orange, but the orange is quite cool. Guys, if you have any of our merch, go check out the merch store. Make sure to slap a like on this video and subscribe, guys. And Jason is also saying, when does Nomu launch? Launch date, actually, he didn't mention launch date. I think everything's getting into action for probably end of April. I will have updates on Nomu, and you can expect some bits from CSC there as well. We'll have further live streams, but that's the only meme coin that I've truly got my eye on at the moment. And also, it's another fish meme coin. So us and Chippy, it's a match made in heaven. There's going to be some cool bits on that as well. You guys are going to be wanting to hear a bit more about Chippy. The price of Chippy has actually held up remarkably well. People aren't selling anymore because I think everyone that has sold, they've wanted to get rid of it. And everyone who else is holding, they know what we're building. They know the value that we can give. I've got another call with the developers tomorrow. The last call last week, pretty much everything's done now. It's just when we want to pull the plug on it. And we've got TMG streaming every day now as well, which has been good fun. TMG's just giving me stream advice in the comments there. But guys, let's put a trade on. Wiz, have you got any altcoins or anything that you've got your eye on? We'll do a short 15-minute trade for the rest of the stream now. I would normally go for Solana, but we're talking about XRP today. Anything that you would like to place a trade on? And guys, let us know in the comments also.
I'm always up for an XRP short, and it seems pretty green, so I would say that. I think, yeah. I prefer to be shorting at 1.9, but I'd love to see it go down regardless.
Yeah, we don't have the time for that, so you know me. We're gonna do a market buy.
Let's flush it down.
Yeah, let's go about 25% on that actually, and we will go short 20x short, no TP, no stop loss. This is how we do it, guys. Right, let's whack that in, and let's keep up on that. So, okay, there you can see our entry 1.8216. So we'll keep an eye on that and go. TMG saying go 100x short. Shorten anything within the next minute. Pratik is saying Chippy is the only meme coin I can hold long term without losing sleep. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff with Chippy. We did have the event back in February. It was good fun. There's also NFC Lisbon coming up in June. I believe you're heading out to Lisbon as well, Wiz, right?
Potentially. Potentially. I'm also meant to be in the Isle of Man for the TT that weekend.
You can magic over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing motorbikes go past me at 250 miles an hour, which makes me want to ride a motorbike for about an hour before I realise it's probably not the wisest idea. But yeah, it's always a fun time over there. A place without tax and a place without speed limits is always a recipe for a good place.
Yeah, it's one that's not mentioned enough, and to our UK audience listening in right now, I believe you know a little bit more. You've looked into this, haven't you, Wiz? But what are some of the tax benefits from setting up in the Isle of Man?
So, to my knowledge, there's pretty much little to no corporation tax.
Mm-hmm.
The tax on individual income is pretty minimal and capped. So that's why you see a lot of millionaires and billionaires there, because I think you're capped at the most amount of tax you can pay in a year is about 200 grand. So obviously if you're making 10 million a year and paying 200 grand in tax, I'd say that's pretty favorable. And yeah, no capital gains tax. And it's quite a nice island. I guess if you like cold Irish Sea islands, it's it ticks that box. But yeah, it's an interesting place.
I think I'll stick with my Thai islands for now. I do have a motorbike, but it's not quite the motorbikes that you see racing around the Isle of Man. I've currently got a Honda PCX 155. I know TMG drives a PCX when he's over here as well. Nice little bikes, but the NMAXs, the Yamahas are the best bikes if you can get them, guys. Thailand also has no crypto gains tax. You do have to be set up. You can't just come over here on a tourist visa and set up a bank account and hope that it's all going to be well. But there are some golden visas as well. If you have a certain amount of savings, I believe it's like $1 million. You can get like 10 years guaranteed. It's called like the diamond visa. You have like a special walkway when you land at the airport. You go straight through. All good. TMG saying, how much money have I lost recently? Probably over the last month, probably the price of a nice semi-detached home back in England. But positivity, we keep going. Like Wiz said, there's opportunity. We've made it before and we can make it again, guys. If you bury your head in the sand for too long, you're never going to make it. You're going to quit and you'll be back to that day job. So you got to keep going, guys. And the best thing to do in times like this is keep on with your education, keep your ear to the ground, keep up with the news, wait for that latest trend, and join communities. Make sure you're in communities like CSE Plus or even free Telegram groups, all of those. But to get the best out of it, you have to surround yourself with good people. You have to surround yourself with people that are keeping up with the trends, looking for the next point of direction. Even with that Martini guy, he's been in my ear since February. It's bearish right now. We're going down. Bitcoin's coming down to 60K. MicroStrategy are going to get screwed in the bum. He's been saying all of this, and perhaps without that community, if you're just a self trader, perhaps I would have been more optimistic and lost even more money than I did. So it's always good to get as many opinions as possible. Wiz, how bad is your portfolio down in the last few months? If you don't want to talk figures, you can talk percentage or whatever. But what has been some of your kind of saving grace in the last few months, or have you switched sides recently? How have you been dealing with that?
I sold some stuff in December and January. Not enough, but I trimmed about sort of 50% of my portfolio. I used, and the beauty, I guess, of having the option for futures is I did hedge some of my stuff down. Yeah. So like ETH, for instance, I had a short on ETH, but unfortunately it was coin margin, so I've just ended up with more ETH, which, depending on your view of Ethereum, probably I'd rather have more cash than ETH at the moment. But yeah, it is what it is. I think cash is always a good opportunity to have at this point. Some stuff has taken a battering, but there's stuff that I don't even look at. So I've got an account where I've just had DCA bots running on stuff I like since the end of January, and I don't look at it. I'll look at that when times feel a bit rosier.
I was fortunate. I actually sold off a lot of my ETH, probably kind of from November to January time. I had 100 ETH, and I've now got around probably 30 ETH. So I did sell a lot of my ETH off. The only problem is I didn't put it into stablecoins, did I? so I was selling ETH, and it went into things like IOTA, POW, all of these, and they have come down a lot as well. So I would have been better off just selling my ETH there as well. We've got TMG in the chat is saying, hopefully Bitcoin will hit 50K. I spoke to him this morning, and he thinks, he wants Michael Saylor to get buried and be done with. There is some reasoning behind this. With MicroStrategy, if they do keep accumulating and becoming this super, mega whale, it takes away from the decentralization of Bitcoin. They've already got such a lead ahead that maybe we do need to level the playing field out a little bit. What's your opinion there? Are you a fan of MicroStrategy, Wiz, or would you rather Michael Saylor go bye-bye?
I don't really think MicroStrategy serves a purpose. I think its purpose has been sort of eroded. I think the benefit of MicroStrategy was, before we had the ETFs, is it gave people and institutions the opportunity to get exposure to Bitcoin without circumventing any rules. So things like the Norwegian sovereign wealth fund, etc., wouldn't have been allowed to invest in Bitcoin, but they could invest in MicroStrategy, and it gave them exposure. Yeah. The issue is you're paying a premium now. You've got ETF options that allow you that exposure, so it feels like a house of cards. And I think we go back to the point is you're better off buying Bitcoin than you are buying MicroStrategy. And even if you wanted to buy leverage play on Bitcoin, you have the options to do that. You also now have ETFs, and the US audiences can also buy calls and puts on the Bitcoin ETFs. So
Yeah.
I don't know what purpose it serves. If he turns it into a Bitcoin bank, that's a potential use case, but we already have all of the DeFi options available for that purpose anyway.
At that point, it is just the new era of finance, isn't it? Do we want to go down that route? Do we want the JP Morgans and the Rothschilds in this world? I think not.
Yeah, it's I think there'll be people that will play that role. But the beauty of DeFi is it's decentralized. I mean, that's why we go for DeFi. So yeah, it's an interesting one. People, you sort of want the institutional money, but you don't want the institutional oversight. So it's a bit like having your cake and eating it.
Yeah, exactly. For so long, I was anti-regulation, and then actually, I think to progress, there is some form of regulation which is needed, isn't there? I just wanted to show TMG. Now he's watching the stream. Just wanted to show him the car we mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is going to be my new purchase, Jordan. The Astragini. I think I can pick one of these up for probably under 2,000, probably around 1 ETH right now. So yeah, that's gonna be my newest purchase. XRP is actually shooting up a little bit. We may go up to that kind of 1.9 level, right? But we also do have a lot of structure all the way down here as well, which could fall quite nicely. So I'm not too worried there. Let's head back. Is there anything you would like to present, Wiz, today? Do you want to go through a few of your bits? Any altcoins you'd like to bring to the audience?
Yeah, so I guess we were sort of talking in sort of Trump and the tariffs and what the goal is, and I think this is something I've been talking with Justin and Dave about a lot recently. Is it's interesting to see some of the plan unfolding with it. Ultimately, it comes down to three core objectives. So he wants to see some of the yield rates fall, given that the US has, I think, $9 trillion of debt that needs to be refinanced this year, most of which is taken out at very, very low interest rates, which we've obviously now in a slightly different situation whereby the interest rates are substantially higher. So freeing up that will ultimately give the government a lot more headroom. Then you've got the Doge aspect, which is cutting government spending, which essentially, if you look at the US government like a business, it's been running sort of like one of these Silicon Valley tech companies where it's just losing money on the hope of growth in the future. We're at a bit now where that growth isn't particularly guaranteed and the headwinds are getting up and the investors are sort of coming and banging on the door and saying, look, we want a return for our money. So they're in the element of cutting spending and raising taxes. You can't really raise the tariffs are almost a stealth way to raise taxes that serve two purposes. You've got a taxation revenue because it's a tax on consumption, and you then also have the element of demand destruction. So demand destruction is essentially where you get to a point where it says on the tin, some of the consumption demand drops. We typically tend to see that with energy. So demand destruction is typically associated with energy. So when you saw oil was getting to $100 plus a barrel, you had a lot of economists talking about demand destruction, where you then people start really cutting back at that point. And I think, given the inflationary headwinds we've been at, that's a key element. We've seen inflation that's been really, really sticky. The interest rates haven't had the desired effect, given that the US economy is still ultimately quite strong. But I think this now will probably begin to destroy some of that demand. I think it's inflationary in the short term, but I think it will eat a lot of demand, and you'll see a lot of Americans start to cut back on things, but also not just Americans. You'll see some of the people in various countries around the world cut back on things as we see as we see this. So that's the inflationary aspect of it. The other aspect is from a currency perspective. So a big sort of plight for the world has been just this relentless strength of the dollar.
Yeah.
Especially given its nature as a reserve currency. And the issue with having the dollar as a reserve currency is whatever the US is trying to do from its own fiscal point of view gets eroded by the fact that countries are running to the dollar as a safe haven. So typically when you raise interest rates, you do it to destroy demand and reduce you increase the value of your currency, etc. And we've seen it bites the US a little bit because people tend to follow suit as to what the Federal Reserve do. So if we look at some of the stuff like the DXY, we can see that is, if we go onto a bigger time frame and turn off Stonksy, we can see that the DXY, getting the DXY back down to a level that was sort of pre-COVID is probably what the US would be looking to do. So we saw this big run up here in 22 off the back of COVID, and then it sort of just settled into a newer high. And I think if we look at sort of what has happened since Trump's come in, is we've seen that slide and slide and slide. If we can break below here and bring it back more towards here, a level in line with this region, it would be beneficial not just for the US, making sort of their exports a lot cheaper. But the Chinese are really struggling.
Why is Trump wanting to go back towards manufacturing? He's against immigration, who they fill up those roles in the manufacturing industry. America's been going down the service route for a long time now. Why is he wanting to go back down the manufacturing route? Will US citizens walk into those jobs? It's a difficult one, and right now, we spoke about this off air. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. But what is America exporting? Jeans, gas, like it's a confusing one.
Yeah, but I think on that, the manufacturing is they probably won't have a choice. I think if you look at sort of the trajectory of where we are with artificial intelligence, the first area that AI will really, really, really begin to impact is service, and it's quite a worrying sign. I think when you look at sort of service-led economies, the UK is a prime example. The UK is really, really overexposed given its reliance to these service-based industries, which artificial intelligence will come after. I know, don't get me wrong, it will go after manufacturing, and robotics will go there, but that's a longer time frame away from where we are in terms of services.
I'm just going to answer Shane's question here. Shane in the chat, can you use BonkBot without a Swissborg account? So that is the beauty of BonkBot. They are a sister company to Swissborg, but different, and it means they can operate in all jurisdictions. I believe as long as you have got a Phantom wallet or a Solana wallet, like Soulflare, anything like Phantom, as long as it's Solana, you can connect and use BonkBot that way, Shane. So go check it out. I believe I might have the link in the description still from yesterday. I may have taken it off. If not, go back to Monday's live stream and you'll be able to find the links there as well. But yeah, you can connect with any Solana wallet, and it doesn't have to be KYC either. So all good. We've got James here as well, who is asking a question. He says, as the DXY comes down, that usually implies that Bitcoin / stocks will increase. However, currently everything is heading down.
I think on that, you've got the uncertainty element. So obviously, whilst the dollar gets progressively less valuable, there's not really a whole lot of stuff that people can run to. I mean, typically you'd run to gold, but even if we look at sort of where gold is, well, gold had recent all-time highs, didn't it? So it was always going to be a difficult one there. That's the wrong one. But yeah, we look at gold. There's not really a whole. I keep getting the wrong chart. I don't want to show my actual gold because I have certain positions mapped out, which I do not wish to be front run on. But yeah, I think people just don't know where to go. You're seeing some fleeing into gilts. So if we go back onto, so I found the right one. So if we look at gilt, so this is an interesting element to look at. So if we look at government debt, this here is the yield in which government debt is serviced on. Trump's aim is to get this lower, and if you look at where we are, it's pretty worrying. So if we look at COVID, when there was just no demand for this at all, it is shot. You look at sort of the way that's run up. Ultimately, I think the aim for Trump and where Trump would be happy with is if he can get this pushed down to around this mark. 4.5% is crazy high when you think about the level of debt that is being serviced. So yeah, we're pretty much back at debts that we saw in the financial crash. So it's I think there's warning signs, and it's a similar story with the UK. We're sort of back at there. We had this relatively nice period here, and then boom. And similar with Germany. Although Germany's on a slightly different trajectory, given they're already in stimulus mode.
We've got Shane here as well saying crashing the market may force the Fed to lower rates, making the debt not accumulate as fast.
It's an interesting one because it's almost a game of it's a multi-angle game of chicken, because on one hand you've got what Trump wants, you've got him playing chicken with the Chinese, him playing chicken with the rest of the world, but he's playing chicken with Jerome Powell in terms of he wants the rates to be lowered. However, Powell is reluctant to lower it, and I think that this is where that demand destruction element comes in. Is the fact that I think through interest rates alone, we won't see a move back to that 2%. Personally, I'm in the economist camp in terms of I don't think we'll see a world where 2% is sustainable any longer. I think possibly post-COVID, after all of the stimulus, the natural element would have been to have settled at 3%, and 3% it's higher than historically, but you can still function a strong economy at 3% inflation so long as you manage to keep up with some of the wage growth. It's counteracted a little bit. So if you look at sort of how GDP is calculated, a large degree of it is government spending. So some of this GDP growth and some of this inflationary angle could get eaten away by some of the austerity measures that the US would place upon their government spending. If they bring their government spending down and you don't have private sector fill that void, you'll then lose some of the GDP, which I think as well there's expectations, and the expectations of American GDP have been historically very high. And lowering those expectations may not be the worst thing. I think we've seen similar with China, where China was having double-digit expansion of its GDP. And there's panic that sets in when it goes below. But China growing at 6% on a larger number isn't the worst. But it's managing those expectations, and I think those expectations have been quite high, and we've gotten to a point where something needed to break, and I think Trump has almost forced it to break.
I just wanted to pull this up from the CEO of Bitwise, Hunter Horsley. So he said, you're a nation that doesn't trust the US right now. You want to store value in something other than US assets, but you don't want to own other nations' currencies, debt, assets, because they're even weaker and you expect they'll debase it. So you could buy gold, but how do you get it shipped to you in your possession? You look around and you see it, an asset that can't be debased. It's controlled by no country, and that you can take into your possession immediately. You wind up buying Bitcoin. we see a lot of hopium like this at the moment. And yes, we all have this long-term vision for Bitcoin. We all do believe it is, the best asset on planet Earth. But people aren't going to switch over quite like that. Perhaps if you're on Tonga or some other island, you can't get gold. But I'm currently on a Thai island, and there's about 3 or 4 gold shops within a mile of me. They love their gold here. I actually went in one. I bought 3.8 grams of gold last week for, I want to say, about £300. It worked out, so dollars probably like 350-ish. I actually bought some physical gold last week. I'm actually down if I went to sell it now.
I was going to say, let's talk about buying the top there, Spud.
Yeah, it was a gift. It was a gift. So, we can see TMG's in the chat as well. He's saying the problem with this strategy of Trump's is he has done more damage to the value of the economy than the value of the debt he will save. Yeah, when you add it up like that, you're right. He's causing a lot of issues.
It's an interesting one. I think ultimately it depends how long this goes on for, and I think you saw some of it get front run. Is when you knew the tariffs were coming in, you'd import things a lot earlier than you potentially needed to be. I think the US economy is the issue with the US economy is it's still relatively resilient. And I think there's an element of separating that the stock market isn't the economy and the economy isn't the stock market. However, the economy of the US will begin to really struggle. I think we've been on the verge of a recession for a while, and certain things have kept out of it. I mean, the UK's pretty much been in a technical recession. It
feels like we've been in a recession since Brexit over in the UK. Just showing the Thai Red Bull. This is what you need when you're feeling a bit under the weather and you're still wanting to trade, guys. Red Bull Extra. God knows what's in it, but it keeps you going. We can see here as well, it says Apple's rumored to have flown in 5 planes full of iPhones to avoid President Trump's tariffs. I know we've pushed this, but this has got to be fake news, surely.
I think you'll see some front loading though. I think we saw that in some of the figures before he came into office. Is if you were an importer, you'd try and import more than what you needed before the tariffs came in. So that'll be really interesting to see when we see some of the numbers come out from the Fed around the inflation and the demand numbers, because I think there was a lot of front loading. We may potentially see lower inflation numbers off the back of this new data, but it's good. I think that the issue is even with the tariffs, a lot of these goods are still cheaper to produce elsewhere.
It's always going to be the case, isn't it? And really, China, they're not really complaining. If they can make their exports cheaper, they're gonna have more business.
Which they're doing. The yuan is falling. The yuan's falling heavily. The stimulus is flowing in, and ultimately, a falling dollar is what the Chinese probably need the dollar to fall more than Trump needs the dollar to fall. They're really struggling under the strain of it because so much of the world is priced in dollars. Even when you don't have exposure to it. If you think when the Chinese import a barrel of oil, they pay for it in dollars.
It's crazy. I feel very strongly about this. If I pop over the border to Cambodia, they have their own currency, but they all use the dollar. Everything's priced in the dollar. We do need to get away from the dollar being the world currency, because it would just give the United States all the power for good. Yes, it should come to the likes of Bitcoin, but then does that give MicroStrategy all the power?
Yeah, it's that financial sovereignty question. I guess sort of from a European angle, as we saw it in the UK with the real resistance for the UK joining the euro, so that we were able to have control of our monetary policy.
Yeah.
The issue with US dollar stable adoption is countries are giving up that currency sovereignty. But then you look at it, and whilst you give up the currency sovereignty, if you're in a place like Turkey or Argentina, the US Federal Reserve is a lot more sensible in their thinking than Mr. Erdogan's government is.
Just having a look at the latest news that's coming with Ukraine suggesting a 23% tax on cryptocurrency profits. Seems a bit harsh. Bearing in mind a lot of Ukrainian citizens will be using cryptocurrency. There's a large Ukrainian population out in Thailand, and also when I go traveling in other places as well, and a lot of them have to use cryptocurrency to get by. To send payments back and forth, much easier than going through their banks and using their own currency there. Same with the Russians as well. So it's there's obviously a big uptick in cryptocurrency use out in Ukraine, and then the government are going, okay, yeah, right, let's we've allowed them to use it for a little bit, now let's tax them on it.
They should have applied that in January on the Solana founder.
yeah.
At 295, they'd have made quite a nice taking on that one.
And we've got over $2 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts face liquidation if Bitcoin reclaims $80,000. Let's have a quick look. Actually, have you got the Bitcoin chart up on your screen? Let's have a quick look at where Bitcoin is. It tried making its way over 80,000, but just didn't want to. And I know a lot of you are expecting lower as well right now.
Yeah, see, this is an interesting one because I was chatting with Justin and Dave about this, about where we go. And if you look at the chart, this box here, this 72k range, it feels too easy. If you zoom out and you can look at it, it feels like we either hover above at 74 and then lift off, or if it does, we just plunge through and sort of go into this mid 60 region. It feels 72k feels too easy, but even going below that, it feels too easy a long position if we go below. I don't know about you, but I just feel bullish the lower it goes. Ultimately look at and we look at, for those who were around sort of last summer. I say last summer, it was pretty much most of the year. We just had this range of death here where it was just do before boom. And I know that sentiment was pretty poor throughout that then as well. But crypto's a weird one because you sort of, if you look, you don't actually have that many massive expansive candles, but when you do, they're big. If you look out, you've basically got 4 weeks there where you run up hard, and then 3 weeks there where you get to the point where you're topping out. There you've got essentially 2 big weeks, 3 weeks there, and then you look at this January run up, you've basically got 3 weeks of candles before you consolidate. Here's the same, you've got 1 big candle, 2 big candle, 3 big candle, top out. So it's all about getting in position ready for those big candles. If you miss those candles, it becomes a probably looking for shorts or trading a range.
And Wiz, I just wanted to, you're welcome to pass up on this question, the question to this, but I'd like to go a little bit into your journey in Web3. You joined Crypto Saving Expert around a year ago now, and are you okay to kind of divulge how your life and how your career has changed since joining the community and crypto in general? You okay to touch upon that?
Yeah. So my foray into crypto. So first got into it when I was quite young. Without sort of incriminating myself, I was always interested in dark web markets, and just sort of that off-grid nature of it. So I dabbled a lot then. I must admit, I didn't hold anywhere near enough.
I wonder where that crypto was going.
I know. I bought my.
I wonder
I paid $500
for
a Bitcoin
back then.
I paid $500 for a Bitcoin, and it still makes me cry that I couldn't sell that for 110,000. But I properly dived into it. So I was coming out of COVID. I've always sort of been a lot more into stocks and commodities. Yeah. So I did quite a lot of dabbling in stocks in that period, and then crypto. I think it was a friend who brought me into sort of the more active side of it. So one of my friends growing up is Mr. Chad Moonmore.
Obviously, Chad.
We know Chad, co-founder of Crypto Saving Expert, and all-around Mr. Reliable. But he sort of brought me into the inner world of CFC. I remember we were going skiing together at one of the indoor slopes when he was setting up the Discord, and then so it brought me into that realm, and I've met some really, really good people. Been to some conferences. Obviously, we've been to Cebu in London. We did Solana Hacker House in London. You and I did Paris as well with
good fun,
David and Sammy, which was a whole lot of fun. And then end of this month we're out in Dubai for Token 2049. So it's exciting, and I think meeting the people behind it is really interesting. It feels to me as an industry, whilst it's still the complete Wild West, it feels like tech was when tech was fun. If you look at sort of that early bubble, coming from a telecoms background where everything is just really old and really boring, it feels stuff moves a lot quicker and a lot more exciting. Ooh, you've been caught on the wrong end of that one.
I was speaking your praises, Wiz. I was like, oh, it's amazing. You've come so far in this industry. You joined the community. That's cost me $150, mate.
We make it all back.
Exactly. We'll let this run anyway. We got Shane here saying, CSE is the best community by far. Love to see it, Shane. We've got James here as well saying, you and TMG need to get out of Thailand as I can't cope with the FOMO. I'm one button away from booking my flights for my next holiday. James, come out here, man. Hit me up, and I'll give you all the tips. And it is paradise out here. TMG was skeptical before he came out here, and you can see how much TMG loves it. I've seen he's been reignited with his. He's made friends again with his frogs. Over in Phuket, he's got his little froggies that he likes as well. That always makes me laugh. Oh, James saying, I used to live there, hence the FOMO. Awesome, man. James, let me know where you used to be, man. Let me know if you've got any travel tips as well. But Thailand is so perfect for cryptocurrency. There's so many influencers out here. You've got Kyle Chas, Coach K, Crypto King, even James the Guru, who I've been introduced to recently as well. I hope to see you out here at some point soon as well. I think that will be ace. But I think if there's anything to wrap today's show up with, I'm gonna put a stop loss just above 1.845 after stream, I think, just in case. At most I'll lose $200, $300. Not the end of the world. We are actually coming down now. Perhaps I'll put a take profit in. Wiz, where would you put my take profit for this? Or do we let it run?
I think the obvious one is down at sort of that 1.8 region. I mean, you could potentially take some risk out of the trade if you look at 1812.
First TP.
1812, you can probably take 50% of the risk out of that one.
Second TP, third TP, something like that. I think that'll be a nice one. And guys, make sure to slap a like on the video and subscribe. If you want to get more involved in the community as well, Wiz has only been a part of our community for the last year. Now he's on live streams. He's coming to events with us, and he's changed his career and his life path completely. And it's amazing to see. And there's plenty more members in the Discord that have done that as well. And I'd like to invite all of you to do the same, man. Hopefully we can all be out in Thailand together. There will be some Thailand trips that I want to put together, guys. I've still got it in my mind. I want to do DGen's Paradise. The idea is like a month of trading, Monday to Friday, wake up, you do Muay Thai or go to the gym, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, meme coin workshop, midday, you go for lunch, come back, you're trading altcoins or looking at, macro news. And that way, if we can all get together, put our brains together, a lot of good things will come out of that. And I know a lot of people will have fun with it as well. The end goal, what I take pride in is giving people that opportunity to go full-time in crypto. It really does, because I know how big of a thing it was for me, 4 years ago, going full-time into crypto. If I can help more people like that throughout the community, like Wiz, like a lot of you in the comments there, that really does it for me, guys. We've got James saying, if you do any Thai trips, meetups pre-planned, I'm there. Yeah, perfect. It's going to be, I think DGen's Paradise is going to be the branding. I will be working on it. I think a lot of people might only be able to do the 1 to 2 weeks. So maybe I do a shorter trip. The idea would be probably 10 to 15 people. I've been talking to a few venues, actually. There's a venue I have in mind, but with crypto trips, you always have to make sure the internet's perfect, because you can't have a crypto trip where the internet sucks, especially when you've got 20 chads all trading at once. Shane saying CSE retreat at the White Lotus Hotel. Yeah, I haven't actually watched that, actually. I heard it's a big Netflix documentary at the moment. But yeah, not so bad now. $90 in a loss, but I'm going to keep this open, guys. Wiz has given me some calls in the past which have banged, so I'm going to keep this open anyway. I will put a stop loss slightly higher in those take profits. Probably first take profit at 181, second at 180 or 18, slightly lower than that, and then the third take profit a little bit lower. So we'll see how it goes, guys. This week for the remainder, you can probably hear it in my voice, I'm a little bit ill, but we're going to have Amplify on tomorrow and Jason on Friday. They may switch dates. I need to go back with them. So we're going to have live stream tomorrow. It'll be same time, 10 a.m. likely, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., somewhere around that. And keep an eye on the short content as well.
Shout out Amplify.
The rest of your week, man?
Good question. So I've got a stream that I'm doing on Friday morning with our friend Dave, and then I'm on the Stonksy stream on Friday afternoon, where hopefully I'll be dropping some nice alpha on all those people who tune in. But yeah, shout out Amplify. I really like Jeff. So that's it. Make sure you tune in.
Awesome, guys. Make sure to tune in. Guys, at 12:30 UTC, or actually BST now, we're in summertime. 12:30 BST, Dave will be going live on Stonksy, and that Martini guy will also be going live around a similar time. So make sure to like and subscribe to their videos as well. Keep an eye out. We're going to be hitting you with content, guys. While everyone else is losing focus, we're going to keep grinding because there's so much opportunity in the market right now, guys. So hopefully see you in the Discord. Take care, guys. Thanks, Wiz, for coming on today. Have a good one. Let's go.